Have you ever met someone who seems completely different depending on who they're around? Or with their friends, they're loud. At work, they're confident. Around you, they suddenly become someone else. And the strange part? You can feel there's something underneath the surface, but you can't quite explain what it is. Sometimes hiding your true self isn't about being fake. It's about being afraid of what might happen if people finally see who you really are. And once you know the signs, you may start noticing them everywhere. The first sign is surprisingly subtle. They constantly adjust themselves to match the people around them. If everyone is joking, they become funny. If everyone is serious, they become serious. If someone dislikes something, suddenly they dislike it too. At first, this can look like social intelligence, but there's a difference between adapting and disappearing. When someone repeatedly changes their personality to avoid rejection, they may have learned that being themselves feels unsafe, and that leads to the second sign. They struggle to answer simple questions about what they actually want. Ask them, "What do you want to do?" You might hear, "I don't care." Whatever you want? Either is fine. Once in a while, that means exactly what it sounds like. But when it happens constantly, something deeper may be happening. They may be so focused on keeping everyone else comfortable that they've lost touch with their own preferences. And here's where it gets interesting. The third sign is that they become unusually uncomfortable when someone gets emotionally close. They might open up, then suddenly pull away. They might tell you something deeply personal, then act like it never happened. You think they're sending mixed signals. But psychologically, closeness can create a conflict. I want you to know me, and at the same time, I'm terrified of what you'll think if you really do. That brings us to the fourth sign. They use humor whenever conversations become too personal. You ask about their feelings, they make a joke. You ask what's really bothering them, they laugh. You try to talk about their fears. Suddenly they change the subject. Humor can be genuine. But sometimes it becomes emotional armor, because if everything becomes a joke, nobody gets close enough to discover what hurts. And the fifth sign is even harder to notice. They seem unusually independent. They never ask for help. They rarely admit they're struggling. They say things like, "I've got it. I don't need anyone. I'll figure it out." Independence can be healthy, but sometimes extreme self-reliance is what happens when someone learned that depending on others leads to disappointment. So they don't just protect their independence, they protect themselves from needing anyone. And then comes the sixth sign. Their words and behavior don't always match. They say they're happy, but their energy says otherwise. They say they don't care, yet they remember every tiny detail. They say something didn't hurt them, but their behavior changes afterward. This doesn't automatically mean they're lying. Sometimes people hide emotions even from themselves. Their mouth says one thing because it feels safer. Their behavior says another because emotions are much harder to control. And the seventh sign? They are extremely sensitive to criticism. Even small comments can hit them harder than expected. You say, "You could have done this differently." And suddenly their entire mood changes. Why? Because criticism may not feel like criticism to them. It may feel like confirmation. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe they'll reject me. Maybe if they see my flaws, well, they'll leave. And that fear can make someone build an entire personality designed around being acceptable. Which brings us to the eighth sign. They constantly seek reassurance, but rarely seem satisfied by it. You tell them they did a great job. They ask, "Are you sure?" You tell them you love having them around. They wonder, "You're not just saying that, right?" The reassurance works for a moment. Then the doubt returns, because the real problem isn't the lack of reassurance. It's that they don't believe they are worthy of it. And finally, the ninth sign may be the most revealing of all. They have a completely different version of themselves when they're alone. Maybe they become quieter, more emotional, more creative, more curious. Maybe they finally listen to the music they actually like, wear what they actually want, think thoughts they never say out loud. That private version can reveal something important, because when nobody is watching, there is no audience to impress, no expectations to satisfy, no rejection to avoid, just them. And that raises a deeper question. What if the person hiding their true self isn't trying to deceive you at all? What if they're trying to protect the version of themselves they believe nobody could love? And maybe they learned early in life that being too emotional was embarrassing, being too ambitious was arrogant, being too sensitive was weak, being different was dangerous. So they adapted, they became whatever version of themselves earned acceptance, until eventually they forgot which version was real. And if you recognize yourself in this, there's something important you should remember. You don't have to reveal everything to everyone. Authenticity doesn't mean giving strangers access to your deepest wounds. It means slowly becoming honest with yourself about what you feel, what you want, what you believe, and who you are when nobody is watching. Because the saddest thing about hiding your true self isn't that other people never get to know you. It's that after pretending for long enough, you may start hiding from yourself. So the next time someone seems difficult to understand, don't immediately assume they're fake. Sometimes the most guarded person in the room is simply someone who learned that being seen comes with a price. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do isn't to become more likable, it's to finally become more honest. If any of these signs felt uncomfortably familiar, ask yourself one question. Who would I be if I stopped performing for everyone else? Your answer might reveal more about you than you expect. And if you've ever felt like you're hiding a part of yourself, share your experience in the comments. Sometimes realizing you're not the only one is the first step toward becoming who you really are.